Hello and welcome to Holt Fieldhouse for another South Atlantic Conference volleyball matchup between the Limestone Saints and the Carson-Newman Eagles. Ryan Wilkes here with you on the Eagles Sports Network, taking you through all your coverage this evening as the Eagles and the Saints battle it out here this evening. Limestone coming in at 3-3, 2-1 in South Atlantic Conference play. Back-to-back SAC wins as the Saints took down Anderson on the road. Anderson picked to finish second in the South Atlantic Conference, so quite the win for the Limestone Saints on the road. Carson-Newman, after a week off, comes back to town 6-3, 2-0 in SAC play. Last appeared at Emory and Henry in a sweep to take down the Wasps. So should be a good one tonight. We'll talk about some starting lineups first for the Limestone Saints. Mia McMillan, who leads the team in kills, gets the start. Jana Price, number 2. Amy Loy, number 4. Jenna Shabelski, number 10. Josie Coran, number 15, and Chloe Ratliff, number 22. The libero is number 20, Sarah Konovatov. For the Eagles, it's Blair Cherry. She is 49 assists away from being the 10th all-time in assists in her young career. Emerson Osmus gets the start, one of the true freshmen we've talked about throughout this season. Taylor Adams, number 10, gets the start as well. Maddie Hurst, number 11, another freshman. Taylor Kieran, number 21, she'll be in the starting lineup. And number 22, Blake Cherry, the libero, is number 15, Bennett McComb. So we're getting ready to roll here from Holt Fieldhouse. We'll talk a little bit about Carson-Newman's early season success, 6-3 under first-year head coach Kat Collins. Started off the season against Missouri St. Louis at the Union Volleyball Classic, a 5-set loss. It was a really tightly contested battle between those two teams. The Carson-Newman won the other two matches against Harding and Union before coming home for the South Atlantic Conference opener against LMU, a 3-1 win here at home. Then went back on the road to take on Francis Marion, and USC Aiken went 1-1 in that trip, 3-2 over Francis Marion, and a 3-1 loss at the host USC Aiken before taking down Montevallo 3-2 the next day, and in straight sets lost to number 25 Augusta, and the second-ranked opponent of the year. So Carson-Newman looks to improve to 3-0 in SAC play ahead of a Friday trip to Tusculum to take on the Pioneers in a rivalry matchup down in Greenville. So we're ready to go. Both teams set for play this evening on a decently attended night here at Holt Fieldhouse. Second home match of the season for Carson-Newman. We'll have one more this month on the 28th, this Saturday, taking on UVA Wise at 2 o'clock. Coverage will be here on the Eagles Sports Network, so make sure you tune in for that one. But got a great one ahead of us tonight as Carson-Newman donning the home whites, Limestone in the road blues. Looking ahead for Limestone, too, it will head home to take on Lincoln Memorial and Newberry to kick off October on the 1st. A good home stretch there. 3 of the next 4 are at home for the Limestone Saints, who have been heavy travelers this month, as have the Eagles. As we're about ready to roll here from Holt Fieldhouse. Eagles looking to remain perfect in early South Atlantic Conference play. We'll have quite a few opportunities coming up to improve that mark. Second in the conference to this point, right behind Lenore Ryan, who is off to a scorching hot start, 12-0 and 3-0 in conference play. So we're ready to roll. Blair Cherry will take the serve for the Eagles as the referees get set, and we're ready for volleyball here in Jefferson City. Blair Cherry will tee it up first for Carson-Newman. She sends a serve over back row. Set near the net far side from McMillan, a big swing, and she puts it down. Point Limestone. Talked about McMillan's impact on this team. Leads the team with 222 kills. And she gets the first one of the match. It's 1-0 Saints. Sarah Kavanagh will go back to serve. Back row for Emerson Osmus. Blair Cherry sets near side for Osmus. She'll poke it over. As it's set near side, Coran gets it over. Cherry far side. Taylor Adams a big swing. Nice dig on the back row. As Coran another big swing. She's blocked. Kanavadov keeps it alive. Now Limestone able to get it over. Cherry keeps it alive for the Eagles. Osmus a big swing. Back row the Saints keep the ball in play. McMillan will have to roll it over on the third hit. Cherry with a dump, but the Saints are ready for it. Coran a big swing, goes off the hands of Blake Cherry. Point Limestone. So well-defended point from the Saints there. Cherry tried to do the dump, which has been really effective, especially against Lincoln Memorial in the home opener, but the Saints ready for it that time, and a 2-0 lead early for Limestone. Konovadoff back to serve, goes back row for Emerson Osmus. Cherry sets it up near side. Back row, the Saints keep it in play. It's rolled over by Chloe Ratliff. Cherry sets far side. Taylor Kieran a big swing, and she scores. Point Eagles. Carson-Newman's first point of the night comes on a kill for Taylor Kieran as Emerson Osmus checks out. Cameron Batis will check in to serve. Nice job by Taylor Kieran to keep that one in play and get Carson-Newman its first point of the evening. It's now 2-1. Cameron Batis, the first sub of the night for the Eagles, will set up a left-handed serve. Konovadoff sets it near the net. A big swing from McMillan, and she pushes it far. Point Eagles. 2-2 the score now as Mia McMillan going for her second kill of the night results in an attacking error, and Cameron Batis will head back to serve once again. This one push far side for McMillan. Awkward tip of the net. Goes near side now, Coran. Adams with the dig. Blair Cherry sets up in the middle for Taylor Kieran, who had a tip at the net, kept alive by Konovadoff and the Saints. This time Coran is blocked by Blake Cherry and Taylor Kieran. Point Carson-Newman. First block of the game for either side comes from Taylor Kieran and Blake Cherry. Carson-Newman out in front for the first time tonight. Caught it at the peak of Coran's jump. Cherry and Kieran both got a piece there, and Carson-Newman is out in front 3-2. This one set far side, McMillan. Adams and Kieran there to keep it alive for the Eagles. Set up far side again, McMillan. She's blocked, kept alive for the moment by Limestone, and now a bit of a miscommunication in between a trio of Saints, and it goes down, Point Eagles. A little bit of confusion there for the Saints, and Carson-Newman has scored 4 straight to take the 4-2 advantage. Batis keeping the serve for the Eagles. Tees up the lefty serve, goes back row for Price. Konovadoff far side, Mia McMillan. She's blocked, and it goes down once again, Point Eagles. Another block for Carson-Newman, that's now 2. It's Kieran and Adams combining, and that'll send us into a timeout. Carson-Newman on a 5-0 scoring run, as you see the block from Kieran and Adams on the far side of the net on a heavy swing from Mia McMillan. Carson-Newman leads 5-2 as Limestone takes an early timeout. We'll be right back here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back here at Holt Field now as Carson-Newman has scored the last 5 points in the match, making it 5-2 Eagles. Here early in set number 1 here on the Eagle Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes taking you through all the action here tonight. So 2 blocks before Carson-Newman sends us into timeout. It was Taylor Adams and Taylor Kieran combining on the first one. Actually, it was Kieran and Blake Cherry, and then Taylor Adams and Taylor Kieran blocked once again. And Kieran and Adams combined for the third, That's 3 blocks so far for Carson-Newman. Makes it 5-2 Eagles. Cameron Batis with the serve once again out of the timeout. Goes back row for McMillan. Set up near side. Coran, a big swing, and it goes just wide past the near sideline. Point Carson-Newman. Coran with an attacking error. That's the 5th attacking error of this first set for Limestone. See, Coran got a nice piece of it. Couldn't see it that well on the replay, but it went a little bit far past the near sideline. Nice job by Bennett McCombs not to touch that. That's this one set again for Coran. She'll poke it over the top of the middle blockers this time. Great job by McCombs to keep it alive. Far side, it's McMillan. She's blocked. Point Eagles. Taylor Adams and Taylor Kieran have started a block party here at Holt Fieldhouse. It's 7-2. Seven to 2, Carson-Newman as Betis set to serve again. This one near side for Coran. McCombs near side, Blake Cherry, a big swing. She's blocked, but it's out of play. Point Eagles. A kill for Blake Cherry makes it 8-2 Carson-Newman. That's an 8-0 run for the Eagles. Betis to serve once again for Carson-Newman. 8-2 the score. This one tipped over by McMillan. Nice dig by Cherry to keep it in play. Now Blake Cherry near side, a swing. Shabelski, back row, Price. And it's kept alive by Carson-Newman. Taylor Adams able to get it over and keep the point in play. What a job by Carson-Newman here early, but that time it goes down, point Limestone. It was Josie Coran with the kill after Carson-Newman was scrambling to get back in position as Camden Dalton and Emily Cole will check in. Nice job by Coran. She'd been denied a couple of times there at the top of the net. That time rolled it over the top of the middle blockers and found a sweet spot in play as the serve from Camden Dalton goes into the net, and the Saints give the serve right back. So Carson-Newman back with the serve. It'll be Taylor Kieran to head back and take it. As Carson-Newman leads 9-3. It's an 8-1 scoring run after Limestone took an early 2-0 advantage. Back row for Price. Dalton near side for McMillan. Cherry sets up her sister Blake on the near side. Kept alive by McMillan. A nice dig at the middle of the net. A big swing from Cole. Cherry sets it near side for Maddie Hirsch, who recently entered. And it's kept alive on a great dig by Konovadoff. McMillan blocked at the net, kept alive by Carson-Newman. Cameron Betis back row to Blake Cherry. Konovadoff will bump it near side for Cole. She's blocked, or I think it just went into the net. Point Carson-Newman. Just an attacking error there by Emily Cole as Carson-Newman earns another point. It's 10-3. Taylor Kieran to serve again for the Eagles, who have gained an early advantage here in this set, even though Limestone was the aggressors at the gate. Far side, Emily Cole will get it on the back line. Point Limestone. Nice kill there for Emily Cole, who coming off an attacking error, she goes right back to it and gets the job done. Limestone now within 6. Mia McMillan to serve for the Saints. Goes back row for Cameron Betis. Blair Cherry to Maddie Hirsch, who's blocked at the net. It's kept alive by Limestone. This one's dumped over by McMillan. Blair Cherry near side for Blake. Tipped around at the net. Carson-Newman keeps it in play. Far side, Taylor Adams, a big swing. Nice dig by Camden Dalton. Benna McCombs able to keep it alive for a moment off the swing from Emily Cole, but it eventually falls to the hardwood. Point Limestone. So Limestone making a little surge here in this first set, back within 5 points. It's 10-5. As Carson-Newman went on an 8-2 run to take a pretty convincing lead here in the first set. Betis on the back row, now to Maddie Hirsch, who puts a big swing into it. Point Carson-Newman. Kill by Maddie Hirsch, that's her first, as Trinity Hayfield will check in for Taylor Adams to go back to serve. And Carson-Newman's lead is back to 6. Nice job so far for Carson-Newman to stave off Limestone. Looked like the Saints were getting a little bit of momentum after the kill from Cole, but the Eagles shut that down on the freshman Maddie Hirsch first kill. Camden Dalton in the net, sets up for Emily Cole, who puts it in the net. Point Eagles. Another attacking error for the Saints. Now up to 8 here in this first set. Carson-Newman has not had an attacking error yet. As Hayfie will serve once again, 12-5 Carson-Newman. Hayfie tees it up, a looping serve, finds the hands of Konovadoff near side. Now it's rolled over by Chloe Ratliff, a big swing for Blake Cherry, kept alive by Dalton near the Limestone bench. Far side, Jana Price, a big swing, goes off the hands of Cherry, and Hirsch at the net, point Limestone. Amy Loy will check in for the first time as you see that swing far side for Jana Price. Overpower the middle blockers of Cherry and Hurst. And Limestone back within 6. Ratliff tees up the serve, goes to Blake Cherry. Now Blair sets it up for Blake near side. Good dig on the back row for Chloe Ratliff. Price with another big swing, but it goes past the back line. Point Eagles. Another attacking error for Limestone as Emerson Osmus checks back in. Takes over for Cameron Bates as Sarah Konovodov quickly checks back in. Chloe Ratliff heads to the bench for the Saints. 13-6, Eagles out in front by 7. Blake Cherry with the serve, back row for Jana Price. Now Dalton sets it up for her far side, and she'll push it past the sideline. Point Eagles. It's an unforced error so far for Limestone. Now 10 attacking errors here in the first set. 14-6, Carson-Newman. See, Price had the right idea there, looking to go cross court, just pushed it a little bit too far past the outstretched arms of Bennett McCombs as Blake Cherry tees up the next serve. Dalton sets it for Loy, who's able to poke it over. Now Cherry near side, Osmus. Nice dig by Konovodov. As Price sets it up, but it goes far past the sideline once again. Point Eagles. Timeout, Limestone, as Carson-Newman holds its biggest lead of the first set. 15-6 as you see Price once again push it just a little bit too far across court. And Carson-Newman is heavily in control here in set number 1. It's 15-6. We'll be right back with the rest of the first set here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back here at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman out in front 15-6 here in set number 1 in a South Atlantic Conference battle with the Limestone Saints. Looking at the early numbers, Carson-Newman has just 3 kills. Maddie Hurst, Taylor Kieran, and Blake Cherry all have 1, but it's been the blocks at the net. Carson-Newman has 5 in the attacking errors for Limestone, 11 of them so far. Limestone has more kills than Carson-Newman, is actually doubling up the Eagles 6-3, but Carson-Newman also has 11 less attacks. And Limestone has kind of hurt itself so far in this match. It's 15-6 as Blake Cherry will head back to serve once again for Carson-Newman. Cherry tees it up, back row for McMillan. Dalton sets it up in the net. Now Price gets it back to her. Camden Dalton far side for Jana Price. Nice dig on the back row for Blake Cherry. Set up by Blair at the net for Maddie Hurst, but she pushes it too far. Out of bounds, point Limestone. Josie Coran will check back in. Heading to the bench is Camden Dalton. And also Jenna Shabelski will check back in. 15-7, Limestone trails by 8 here in set number 1. It'll be Shabelski to serve for the Limestone Saints as she tees it up with the right hand. Back row for Trinity Hafey. Blair Cherry sets up Osmus near side. A big swing, and it goes off the hands of middle blockers. And out of play, point Carson-Newman. Emerson Osmus gets a kill as Taylor Kieran checks back in for Maddie Hurst. It's a great set by Blair Cherry. We'll keep our eye on that assist total again coming into tonight. Needed 49 to move into 10th all-time. The Carson-Newman all-time assist leader. She has 3 tonight as Bennett McCombs prepares to serve. Back row for Konovodov. Set up far side, Coran. A dig by Blake Cherry in the back row. Hafey goes to retrieve it. Now McCombs will have to roll it over. McMillan towards the net. Shabelski a set for Coran. Kept alive by Trinity Hafey. Now Blair Cherry sets it up for Blake in the middle of the court. Price a big swing far side and puts it down. Point Limestone. Price has looked to overpower the Carson-Newman middle blockers and has done so fairly successfully here in set number 1. Limestone is back within 8. Here comes Elena Hansen for the first time. She'll check in to serve. Jana Price goes to the bench as Hansen sees her first action tonight. Price now up to 3 kills on the evening. This goes back row. Blair Cherry tries to dump it over. She goes right to the net Point Limestone. Second attacking error for Carson-Newman as Cherry tried to dump it over, but couldn't get it over the top of the net. So Limestone looking to make a little run here, trailing by 7. 16-9 as the serve from Hansen goes off the hands of Hafey, and that's a service ace for the Saints. Hansen gets an ace, makes it 16-10 Carson-Newman. As Hansen making an early impact in her first action of the night. 16-10 Eagles as Hansen tees up another serve. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair sets the net for Taylor Kieran, who pokes it over the top of the middle blockers and McMillan and Loy and puts it down. Point Eagles. Adams checks in for Hafey as we take a look at this nice kill from Taylor Kieran. She saw the middle blockers and just rolled it over the top. Nice attempt by Konovodov to get to it. She couldn't get there in time. Carson-Newman leads 17-10 as Blair Cherry heads back to serve. Cherry tees it up for the Eagles. Back row for Konovodov. Now trying to keep in play is McMillan. She does a nice job to do so. Boy rolls it over far side. Cherry sets up in the middle for Taylor Adams, who pushes it past the back line. Point Limestone. Third attacking error for Carson-Newman, but been pretty smart so far out of the Eagles. As another sub coming in for Limestone is Chloe Ratliff. That will send Amy Lloyd to the bench. Sarah Konovodov to serve. Blair Cherry near side. Emerson Osmus a big swing. Now set up in the middle for Hansen. On near side Kieran, and it just goes into the net. A little bit of an awkward set out of the hands of Blair Cherry. Point Limestone. Take a look at this here as Cherry just pushed it a little bit too far for Kieran. She kind of knew it off the bat. As Limestone within 5. Konovodov serves. Blair Cherry sets it up far side. Taylor Kieran a big swing, and she goes right through the middle blockers of McMillan and Ratliff. Point Eagles. Osmus checks out. Bates back in. As Kieran gets her third kill tonight. She went right through the middle of Ratliff and McMillan. And Carson-Newman gets a serve back. Cameron Bates to serve for the second time. She was a big part of that 8-1 scoring run earlier in the set. Bates back row for McMillan. Set up for Ratliff, who gets it over the top of the net. Point Limestone. Nice play there for, actually that's point Carson-Newman. A violation on Ratliff. Did look like she went to the net a little bit there, so the right call as Carson-Newman now leads 19-12. Couldn't tell off the bat whether the point was rewarded to either side, but it does go to Carson-Newman. This one's set up for Coran, a big swing. Nice dig by Bates on the back row. Cherry sets it up for Blake Cherry. She goes cross court. Pushes it too far past the far sideline. Point Limestone. A couple of subs coming in for the Saints. It'll be Dalton and Cole checking in for Coran and Shabelski. And the right idea there for Blake Cherry. Tried to go cross court. Just went a little too wide. Here's a serve for Dalton. Blair Cherry sets up Taylor Kieran, who again pushes it past the back line. Point Limestone. Some hard swings by the Eagles, just a little bit too far past that back corner. Powerful swing there for Kieran. Nice job by Dalton and Hansen on the back row to leave that one alone. As Dalton serves, Blair Cherry sets up far side Taylor Adams, and that's past the back line. Point Limestone. The Saints within 4. It's 19-15 as the attacking error is starting to rack up for Carson-Newman. Now 6 here in the first set. Limestone has 12, so both teams with a handful of attacking errors here in this first set as Dalton tees up the serve. Blair Cherry sets up Taylor Kieran in the middle, and that time she puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Big swing by Kieran in the middle, went off the hands of Camden Dalton as Kieran gets the game-leading 4th kill. It's a powerful swing, too hard for Dalton to handle. Carson-Newman now 5 points away from securing set number 1. Kieran with the serve, and it goes out of bounds. Point Limestone. First service error for Carson-Newman. As Jana Price checks back in, Maddie Hirsch checks in for the Eagles. 20-16 the score. Limestone has tightened things up here in the back end of set number 1. McMillan to serve. Blair Cherry sets up far side Taylor Adams, and she goes just a bit wide down the far sideline. Point Limestone. 8 attacking errors now for Carson-Newman, and Kat Collins will burn her first timeout. 20-17, Carson-Newman still out in front, but Limestone has tightened things up here in the back half of the first set. We'll be back with the end of set number 1 here on the Eagle Sports Network. Back here at Holt Fieldhouse, Ryan Wilkes with you here on the Eagle Sports Network. Carson-Newman leads Limestone 20-17, but the Saints have made a bit of a run here at the end of set number 1. It's 20-17. Carson-Newman had taken a controlling 9-point lead that has since tightened up. It's a 3-point advantage for Carson-Newman as Mia McMillan heads back to serve for the Limestone Saints. Team leader in kills, Mia McMillan coming into tonight with 222, has one so far tonight. And she serves it back row for Cameron Bates. Blair Cherry sets up the freshman Maddie Hurst. Nice dig on the back row by McMillan. Now Dalton far side for Price. Goes off the hands of Blair Cherry. Kept alive in the far stands by Cameron Bates, and the point stays alive. Cole goes towards the middle, this time off the hands of Taylor Adams. Point Limestone. What a job by Cameron Bates to keep that alive, but Carson-Newman just looked a little bit scrambled after the dig by Bates. Just what an attempt on the far side. Carson-Newman had to scramble back into position. Emily Cole saw that, put in the middle of the court. Taylor Adams tried to get to it, but couldn't do so in time. 20-18 the score as McMillan's serve goes back row, and the set rolls over the net. Limestone adjusts to keep it in play. Blair Cherry sets up near side for Blake Cherry. A big swing that's past the near sideline. Point Limestone. It's a 1-point set here in the first set. Nice set by Blair Cherry. Blake pushed a little bit too far past the near sideline, and Limestone is within 1. McMillan serves. Blair Cherry sets it up in the middle for Maddie Hurst, who puts it down. Point Eagles. Nice job by the lefty to go over the top of the middle blockers, but put enough emphasis on it to score. Trinity Hayfie checks in as Eagle checks out. Just a great job by the freshman there to score. They get Carson-Newman a much-needed point. 21-19 the score with Trinity Hayfie to serve. Dalton sets up near side for Cole, who has to adjust. Konavadoff keeps it in play. Now this one is pushed too far past the far sideline by Chloe Ratliff. Point Eagles. Attacking errors have played both sides early on. Limestone now up to 13 here in the first set. 22-19. Trinity Hayfie set to serve again for the Eagles. Dalton sets up near side Emily Cole, and that one goes out of play. Point Eagles. 23-19 Carson-Newman. As Limestone with another costly mistake here in the first set. Not a back swing there by Cole, just a little bit too much on it. As Hayfie serves again for the Eagles. McMillan able to keep it in play. Now Price will just have to poke it over. Blair Cherry sets up for Blake. Limestone able to deflect it. Now Cherry a big swing, and she scores. Not what Blair Cherry is known for there in the middle, but she gets the kill, and it's 24-19. So right there, Blair Cherry just saw the opportunity to put it down. Limestone seems a little off guard by that, and it's 24-19. Set point for the Eagles, looking to stave off Limestone here in the first set. Dalton sets a far side. Price a big swing, and it goes off the hands of Cherry and Hurst. Point Limestone. So the Saints keep it alive, and we'll get the serve back as Lloyd checks back in for Konavadoff. And Chloe Ratliff will serve. 24-20 the score. Carson-Newman looking to close it out despite a spirited attempt by the Saints. Blake Cherry will poke it over. Camden Dalton keeps alive on the back row. Now far side, Jenna Price Bennett McCombs with a nice dig. Now Blair Cherry sets it up for Maddie Hurst, and she pushes it out of bounds past the back line. Point Limestone. 24-21. Kat Collins does have that timeout in her back pocket. As you see the swing from the lefty, just a little too far. And out of bounds. Ratliff to serve again. Blair Cherry sets up near side for her sister Blake, who rolls it over the top of the middle blockers. Point Carson-Newman. A kill for Blake Cherry, end set number 1. 25-21 Carson-Newman. As you take a look at the final kill from Blake Cherry. Decided to go over the top of Loy and Cole, and a creative decision to do so. 25-21, the set score here in set number 1. Carson-Newman takes the lead 1-0. We'll be back with the second set here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back here at Holt Fieldhouse, set for set number 2. Carson-Newman leads 1-0 following a 25-21 first set. It's pretty much Carson-Newman all the way. Limestone scored the first 2 points of the set, but the Eagles led the rest of the way. Only one tie and one lead change. Carson-Newman held the lead ever since it was 2-0 Limestone, but the Saints did tie it up, didn't tie it up, but brought it as close as 3 points there at the end of the first set. Carson-Newman was able to prevail. Not really a cleanly played set by either side. 14 attacking errors for Limestone, 9 for Carson-Newman, so both teams will look to clean that up. Looking at the kills, Taylor Kieran leads all scorers with 4. Next closest is Emily Cole with 3 and Jana Price with 3 on Limestone's side. Maddie Hurst and Blake Cherry have 2 kills apiece. Blair Cherry had a very important kill that got Carson-Newman the serve back late in that set. And the Eagles and the Saints ready to go for set number 2. So both teams look to clean things up a little bit and prevent some attacking errors. A highlight for Carson-Newman certainly in that first set was the presence at the net. 5 blocks for Carson-Newman. Limestone was not able to get a block there in the first set, so both teams will look to battle it out here in set number 2. Pretty decent crowd on hand for some Tuesday night volleyball here at Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman's second home match of the year. Talked about the upcoming schedule for the Eagles. Go to Tusculum on Friday before hosting UVA Wise here at Holt on Saturday. Konovadoff to serve for Limestone. Blair Cherry sets it up in the middle for Emerson Osmus. Great job by Konovadoff to keep it alive with the dig. Price has to roll it over. Blair Cherry sets up at the net. As now Jenna Price with a big swing. She pushes it past the back line. Point Eagles. Kylie Oldenburger getting the start here in the second set. You see the big swing there from Price. Just a little bit too much power on it as Cameron Bates checks in for Emerson Osmus, and she'll serve. 1-0 Eagles here very early in set number 2. Carson-Newman holds a 1-0 set advantage after a 25-21 first set. The lefty Bates to serve. Back row for Konovadoff. Cherry had to poke it over. Now Konovadoff back to the Eagles side. Blair Cherry with a nice dump, and she scores. Tried in the first set. Did not succeed. That time she does. What a dump there for Cherry. Just found the sweet spot in the hardwood in between a pair of Saints. 2-0 Eagles. And we'll keep an eye on Blair Cherry throughout the night coming into tonight. Just 49 assists from 10th all-time in assists. She has 8 this evening. So bring that counter down to 41. Beta serves, and she puts it in the net. Point Limestone. Here comes Josie Coran and Jenna Shabelski checking in for Camden Dalton and Emily Cole. Limestone gets the serve. It's 2-1 Eagles. Shabelski will serve. Goes back row for Blake Cherry. Blair sets it up at the net. Big swing by Taylor Kieran, and it goes off the hands of McMillan and out of play. Point Eagles. Kieran with the kill. Assist for Blake Cherry. Or excuse me, Blair Cherry. She's nearing double digits in assists. It's a great set by Blair. Taylor Kieran with a powerful swing. And it's 3-1 Carson-Newman. Maddie Hurst checks in for Bennett McCombs as Taylor Kieran heads back to serve. Goes back row for Mia McMillan. Shabelski sets up Coran. Bates rolls it towards the net. Blake Cherry has to get it over. Set far side. Coran a big swing, and she puts it down on the near sideline. Point Limestone. Great attack there for Josie Coran. She found a spot right next to the Carson-Newman bench to deposit that. And Limestone's back within 1. Elena Hansen checks in to serve. She tees it up. Back row for Cameron Bates. And it goes over the net. Now Mia McMillan, a big swing. She's blocked, kept alive by Konovadoff. She's been active tonight. As McMillan sends it back row for Bates. Blair Cherry sets up for Oldenburger. As Limestone able to keep the point alive. McMillan now is blocked at the net, tipped around, and it goes down. Point Eagles. I believe that'll be a block for Oldenburger and Maddie Hurst. As Trinity Hafey checks in. That will be the block assist for Maddie Hurst, and Kylie Oldenburger make that 6 for the Eagles. As Hafey heads back to serve. 4-2 the score. Carson-Newman here early in set number 2. Hafey tees up the serve. Shabelski sets it up far side for Coran. Nice dig by Trinity Hafey to keep it in play. Now Blake Cherry far side puts it down. Point Eagles. All started on the dig from Trinity Hafey to keep it in play. Limestone a little bit out of position, and Blake Cherry gets a kill. Nice job by Blake Cherry to push it past the back row of Limestone defenders. Hafey set to serve. 5-2 Carson-Newman. Shabelski sets it up for McMillan, who pokes it over the top of Hurst and Cherry. Point Limestone. Limestone's having to get creative here with the blocking presence for Carson-Newman as Lloyd checks back in. McMillan just had to tip it over top of Hurst and Cherry there to make sure that the Eagles didn't get another piece of it. Chloe Ratliff will serve for the Limestone Saints. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair sets it up in the middle of freshman Maddie Hurst with a swing, but it goes past the back line. Point Limestone. Hurst with the southpaw swing, just a little bit too much mustard on that one. As it's 5-4. Chloe Ratliff with the serve once again for Limestone. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair will roll it over again and score. So effective for Blair Cherry. Got to account for her with her sets, and sometimes she'll catch you off guard. Does so again. Her eyes are so deceptive. It looks like any other set for Blair Cherry. You can never tell when she's going to do it, and it's hard to prepare for. 6-4 Eagles. Blake Cherry will serve. Set up by Shabelski, far side. Coran is blocked. Point Eagles. It's Hurst and Osmus on the far side combining for the block. It's the two freshmen combining for the Eagles' 7th block of the game. Presence at the net has been there early and often. Limestone keeps trying to go through it, not having much success early on. Blake Cherry to serve. Shabelski sets up far side Coran. This time she's aware of it, and Osmus has to keep it alive. Now Blake Cherry rolls it over. Kanavadov, far side McMillan. She tried to push it far side. Bennett McCombs is ready for it. Emerson Osmus tees it up. It's blocked to the net. Limestone gets its first block. It's Coran and Loy, point Saints. Here's comes Dalton and Cole back into the game. As Limestone gets its first block here in the second set. Off the Emerson Osmus attack. 7-5 the score as Camden Dalton serves. Blair Cherry sets it up far side. Osmus. Nice dig on the back row for Hansen. Dalton for McMillan. A big swing. It goes past the sideline. Point Eagles. Another attacking error for Limestone. Make that 18 on the evening. Again, a good idea for McMillan. She tried to push it past Hafey. Had a little bit of sideline to work with there. Just a little bit too far past the near sideline. As Bennett McCombs ready to tee up the serve. Hansen, a hard set at the net, goes over to Carson-Newman's side. Cherry goes far side for Osmus, who rolls it over the top. A great dig by McMillan to keep it alive, and she'll roll it over. Blair Cherry near side for Kieran. A block attempt, but it goes out of play. Point Eagles. Another kill for Taylor Kieran. She's up to 6. That leads all scorers. It's a powerful swing, and it looked like it was McMillan who got a piece of it, but it just went out of bounds on the near sideline. 9-5 your score as Carson-Newman with a 4-point lead here early in set number 2. McCombs back row for Hansen. Dalton has to retrieve it. Goes off the roof of Holt Fieldhouse, but it's kept in play. Cherry sets it up far side. Osmus, a big swing. Kept alive once again by Mia McMillan. A great job by one of Limestone's top players. Cherry tries to dump it again. Kanavadov is ready for it. McMillan gets it over. Cherry dumps it again. Far side. Nice job by Dalton to keep it in play. Now a big swing for McMillan, and it's blocked by Cherry and Kieran. What a point there. Limestone with his backs up against the wall does a good job to keep it in play, but McMillan tried to end the point. Cherry and Kieran had something to say about it. Point Eagles, it's 10-5 as Limestone calls a timeout. And Carson-Newman with another early advantage gets its 8th block here in set number 2. We'll be back here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman with the 10-5 advantage. A block from Blair Cherry and Taylor Kieran sends us into a Limestone timeout. Carson-Newman has had a presence at the net, nearing double-digit blocks, and we're only in the second set. Looking at the blocks, Taylor Kieran with 5 block assists. Taylor Adams has 3, as does Maddie Hurst. A couple Eagles with 1 or 2 apiece to combine for 8 blocks so far. In tonight's matchup is Bennett McCombs ready to serve. A great point before we went to timeout. A couple incredible digs, one by Sarah Kanavadov on the back row for Limestone, but Carson-Newman eventually able to finish the point. Bennett McCombs serves back row for Kanavadov. Now near side, Cole rolls it over the top of Cherry and Kieran, but Emerson Osmus is there to clean it up. McCombs rolls it over. Dalton sets up for McMillan, a big swing, and guess what? She's blocked. Point Eagles. It's Cherry and Kieran make that 9 blocks for Carson-Newman. As McMillan tried again, went right back to it. But Kieran and Cherry right there. And it's 11-5. McCombs to serve again for Carson-Newman. Awkward roll at the top of the net. Limestone able to get it over. Now Cherry sets up Taylor Kieran, who pokes it over. Konavadoff again right there for the Saints. McMillan, Hafey with the dig, but nobody there as the ball falls to the hardwood. Point Limestone. Here comes Jenna Price back in. Lana Hansen will check out as Limestone regains the serve. 11-6 Carson-Newman. Take a look at the potential dig by Hafey. McCombs kind of debating whether or not she wanted to go for that one and ran the risk of running over her teammate on the hardwood. 11-6, Carson-Newman out in front with McMillan to serve. Blair Cherry puts it down, just slammed it over the top of the net. Realized she wasn't really in position for a set, decided to do it herself. Point Eagles. Could see she was thinking about setting it up, but just saw it right over the top of the net. And the Saints not ready for it. Point Eagles. Blair Cherry now up to 5 kills. 4 kills on the night. She will serve for Carson-Newman, and it'll go too far past the far sideline. Point Limestone. Chloe Ratliff will check back in as Amy Loy heads to the bench. And Sarah Konavadoff to serve for Limestone. 5-point set here in set number 2. Carson-Newman leads 1-0. Cherry far side for Kylie Oldenburger. Kept alive for a moment, but it goes down. Point Eagles. Kylie Oldenburger gets her first kill in her third attack as Bates checks back in for Osmus, and she'll serve. Just a nice job by Oldenburger to get a piece of that one and force the Limestone defense to try and keep it in play. They could not. As Carson-Newman's lead is now 6. The lefty Bates back to serve. Goes off the hands of a couple Saints and down. Point Eagles. Service ace for Cameron Bates, and the Eagles' lead is now 7. It's a good serve, uncomfortable position for McMillan, and the rest of the Saints couldn't keep it alive near the net. It's Carson-Newman now doubling up Limestone here in set number 2. Bates to serve, goes back row for Konavadoff, and now Kieran will slam it down. Point Eagles. A hard bump off the hands of Konavadoff, and Kieran just dunked it down over the top of the net. Point Carson-Newman, an 8-point advantage, and Brandon Squares will burn his second timeout. 15-7, Eagles. Carson-Newman in control, leading 1-0 here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman in firm control here in set number 2 as Brandon Squares, in his 10th season with the Saints, looks to rally his troops here on the Eagles Sports Network. Carson-Newman in control of this second set, currently on a 3-0 scoring run. That sent us into Limestone's second timeout, so the Saints out of timeouts here in set number 2. A well-timed timeout for Brandon Squares. He's used to this at this point, his 10th season with the Limestone Saints. As Cameron Bates ready to tee up the serve. Going into timeout after Taylor Kieran's kill. And Bates had a service ace as well. Konavadoff keeps it in play for the Saints on the back row. Emily Cole with a big swing. McCombs keeps it in play, and Cherry rolls it over. Now Ratliff. Cherry sets it up far side for Blake Cherry, who scores. Point Eagles. Blair Cherry with an assist to her sister Blake, and the Eagles' lead is 9. It's a beautiful far side set by Blair Cherry. I mentioned is nearing the 10th all-time spot in Carson-Newman assists. Has 11 tonight. Needs 49 to take over 10th place. Camden Dalton sets up for Jana Price. It's kept in play by Blair Cherry. Now McCombs far side for Blake Cherry. Rolls it over the top of the Limestone middle blockers, but is kept alive. Now Price goes right at Oldenburger and Kieran, and the block goes wide on the near side. Point Limestone. Coran checks back in as well as Shabelski as you look at this attack for Price. Both Kieran and Oldenburger got a piece, but it went out of play as the Saints regained the serve. 16-8 your score here in set number 2. As Shabelski set to serve for the Saints. Goes back row for Betis. Combs calls everybody off, sets far side. Blake Cherry with a big swing off the hands of McMillan, and Konovadoff gave chase, couldn't get there in time. Point Eagles. Blake Cherry with her 5th kill. Nice set. McMillan got a piece of it. Konovadoff again, she's been everywhere tonight. Gave chase, just couldn't get there quite in time. As Carson-Newman regains a 9-point advantage and takes the serve back. Taylor Kieran a serve. Shabelski sets up Coran. Blair Cherry sets it up near side. Oldenburger a big swing, and it's scored. Off the hands of Ratliff and Price. Kylie Oldenburger gets herself another kill. That's her 2nd. 18-8 the score off Oldenburger's kill. A powerful swing off the hands of Price and Coran. Or excuse me, Price and Ratliff at the net. Kieran serve goes to McMillan. Now a big swing by Coran in the middle. Point Limestone. Hanson checks back in. McCombs will sub in for Taylor Kieran. As Hanson heads back to serve. Nice job by Coran there right in the middle with the Carson-Newman logo at midcourt. Able to score and make it a single-digit advantage for Carson-Newman. Blair Cherry sets up far side for Blake, but just a little bit too far out of play. Point Limestone. 18-10 the score. Limestone was able to make things interesting down the stretch of the first set. We'll look to do so once again here in set number 2. Shabelski wipes up some moisture off the floor. She's back ready for play. As Hanson heads back to serve once again. Hanson tees up the serve, goes back row for Blake Cherry. Now Blair Cherry sets up near side Oldenburger with a powerful swing, but it goes off the hands of a Saint. Point Eagles. It looked like that one was going to go past the back line, but it did tip off a couple Limestone hands there, and she scores. 3rd kill for Kylie Oldenburger. She checks out in favor of Trinity Hafey as couldn't see the tip on first glance. Might have been the middle blockers who got a piece of it. As Hafey tees up the serve, 18-11. Carson-Newman out in front. This one is tipped around. McMillan with a heads-up play to get it over. Now Blair Cherry sets up in the middle for Hurst. Again, Konovadoff right there for the dig. Blair Cherry rolls it over. Konovadoff again keeps it alive, and Cherry puts it in the net. Point Limestone. Talked about the impact of Sarah Konovadoff. She is everywhere on the floor and gets a much deserved breather as Amy Lloyd checks back in. Konovadoff up to 11 digs here in this match. She had a couple important ones there. Blair Cherry sets up far side. Maddie Hurst, a big swing, goes off the hands of the middle blockers and scored. Point Eagles. 20-11 the scores. Emerson Osmus checks back in, and Sarah Konovadoff, the corresponding sub for Limestone. To the lefty, a powerful swing off the hands of Loy to make it 20-11. Now a whistle. Looks like retrieving a loose ball on the court. Carson-Newman 5 points away from taking a commanding 2-0 set lead with Blake Cherry to serve. This one goes in the net. Point Limestone. 2 subs coming for the Saints. Camden Dalton and Emily Cole will check back in for Josie Coran and Jenna Shabelski. 20-12, Eagles out in front. Limestone looking to make a little surge and tighten things up on the back end of this set. Cut it to 3 in the first set. Looking to do the same here in set number 2. Dalton serves. Blair Cherry sets it up near side. The lefty Hurst, a big swing. And now Cherry will have to roll it over. Konovadoff near side for McMillan, and it goes past the back line. Point Eagles. An attacking error for Limestone. That's really been the Achilles heel for the Saints tonight. 21st attacking error of the night. McMillan Looked like it almost got a piece of Hurst and Cherry, but it went right in the middle of the two. As McCombs will serve for Carson-Newman, 21-12 your score. McCombs to serve. Dalton sets up near side for Cole, a big swing, but it's blocked. Cherry and Kieran combine, point Eagles. Ninth block for Carson-Newman, and it's 22-12. Just a well-timed jump for Cherry and Kieran, catching Cole at the peak of her jump, and Carson-Newman's lead is back to double digits. McCombs serves back row for Hanson. Dalton sets up in the middle. Alana Hanson, a big swing. Taylor Kieran right there. Canavadal far side for McMillan, who wisely rolls it over the top of Carson-Newman, able to keep it alive. Now Dalton sets up McMillan, a big swing. She's blocked. Point Eagles. It's Cherry and Kieran again to combine for the 10th block of the match. Point Carson-Newman. Those two have been a steady presence on the right side. And Carson-Newman's lead is now 11, 23-12. McCombs to serve for the Eagles, puts her right in the middle. Hanson right there. Loy now looked like she carried it, and she did. Point Carson-Newman. 24-12, Carson-Newman looking for another commanding set. It was 25-21 the first set. Like I mentioned, Limestone tightened things up on the back end. Carson-Newman had a handful of attacking errors late in the first set, but this time looking to close things out stress-free. McCombs to serve. Dalton bumps it near side. McMillan, who rolls it over the top of Cherry and Kieran. Now Blair Cherry keeps it alive, and I'm going to say a violation on Carson-Newman. Point Limestone. Jana Price will check in favor of Alana Hanson as Mia McMillan heads back to serve. We'll update you on some kill numbers after the break. But to preview, nobody's in double digits with kills yet this evening as Cherry rolls it over. Canavadal far side for Cole, a big swing, and it goes off the hands of Osmus and Kieran, and down, point Limestone. Fourth kill for Emily Cole. That ties the top of the score sheet for the Limestone Saints. You see that time Kieran and Osmus just a little bit late on the jump, and Cole able to overpower them. McMillan back row for Blake Cherry. Blair sets it in the net for Taylor Kieran. Limestone able to keep it in play. Jana Price, Trinity Hayfield in the back row. Now Blair Cherry far side Osmus. Nice dig on the back row for Mia McMillan. Now far side Cole Bennett McCombs right there. Cherry sets up the freshman Osmus on the far side. She finds the middle of the hardwood. Point Eagles. Set goes to Carson-Newman, 25-14. As you see, Osmus just able to find the sweet spot in the middle of Limestone defense, and Carson-Newman with a commanding 25-14 set number 2 and a commanding lead in sets. It's 2-0 as we get set for set number 3 on the Eagles Sports Network. Back with the start of set number 3. Carson-Newman out in front. 2-0 over the Limestone Saints here on the Eagle Sports Network. Ryan Wilkes taking through all the action this evening as Brandon Squares in his 10th year with Limestone, looking to rally the Saints together to try and push this to at least 4 sets. But Carson-Newman in steady control of set number 2 from start to finish. No ties, no lead changes. It was all Eagles in a 25-14 second set. Taking a look at the kills so far on the stat sheet. Leading Carson-Newman, leading all scorers is Taylor Kieran with 7 kills on the night. She's nearing a double-double. She has 7 blocks so far this evening. Carson-Newman has 10 as a team. Blair Cherry with 4 kills, and talked about those assists. We're keeping an eye on that. 16 assists for Blair. She needs 33 to go into 10th place on the all-time Carson-Newman assist leaders. So that count continues to trickle down as Blair looks to go among the all-time greats of Carson-Newman volleyball. She's well on her way to doing so. 16 assists tonight for Blair. Also on the stat sheet for Carson-Newman, Maddie Hurst and Kylie Oldenburger have 3 kills apiece. Emerson Osmus with 2 so far this evening. On Limestone's side, 3 players with 4 kills apiece. Jana Price has 4. Josie Coran has 4, as does Emily Cole. Mia McMillan, who leads the team in kills, she's been denied quite a few times tonight. 3 kills in 26 attacks. She has 10 errors this evening. Carson-Newman's done a good job defensively on a very, very talented player here in the South Atlantic Conference. And those are all the kills to speak of for the Limestone Saints. Only 4 players have a kill so far this evening. Talked about the attacking errors. That was also a trend there in the second set for Limestone. 24 attacking errors overall. And Carson-Newman in control of this one. Trinity Hayfie to serve for the Eagles. Back row for Hanson. Now Shabelski in the middle for Coran. Blair Cherry sets up for Maddie Hurst. And Kanavadov right there for the Saints. Big swing for Coran, goes off the hands of Hayfie. And down, point Limestone. Looked like that one might have been too strong off the hands of Coran, but Hayfie got a piece of it. Take a look at it here. It looked like it probably would have been going out of play nonetheless. Limestone takes a 1-0 lead here in set 3. Kanavadov to serve. Blair Cherry sets it up for Hurst. She's blocked. It's kept alive for a moment, but not for long. Point Saints. Second block of the match for Limestone. It looked like Coran and Ratliff combined for that one, and Limestone leads 2-0. Sarah Kanavadov with the serve. Goes too far past the back line. Point Eagles. Another error for the Saints, which your head coach Brandon Squares, it's probably going to be a focal point in the next couple of days of practice as the Saints will get ready for LMU on Friday. Blake Cherry to serve for the Eagles. Back row for Hanson. Shabelski, far side. McMillan tries to push it far side, but it goes out of play. Point Eagles. Mia McMillan just looking for any way to get involved here in this game. A creative idea there. They just pushed it a little bit too far past the near sideline. 2-2 the score with Blake Cherry to serve. Goes back row for Hanson. Shabelski sets up Coran, a big swing. Now Kanavadov far side for McMillan. Blair Cherry sets up near side. Emerson Osmus rolls it over the top, but McMillan keeps it in play for the Saints. Now Hanson pushes it over. Trinity Hayfie on the back row to Blair Cherry. Now Hurst pokes it over. It's tipped around and scored. Maddie Hurst with the kill, and Carson-Newman takes its first lead here in the third set. It's 3-2. Like Maddie Hurst was actually looked pretty creative there to try and push it where nobody was, and Coran got a hand on it but couldn't keep it alive for long. As Cherry will serve once again, a 3-0 scoring run for Carson-Newman. Served by Cherry, back row for Hanson. Shabelski sets it up, and it's going to be a carry on Chloe Ratliff. Like Ratliff cupped that one a little bit and tried to slam it down. Point Carson-Newman to make it 4-2. Pretty reminiscent of the first set where Carson-Newman went down early 2-0, scored the next 8 points. Take a commanding set lead as Shabelski sets it up far side. McMillan, a big swing off the hands of Hayfie and scored. That's just a little bit of a preview of what Mia McMillan can do. She's been shut down pretty well tonight by the Eagles as a couple subs check in for Limestone, but just a powerful, clean swing there for Mia McMillan. Ella Hudick checks in. And she'll serve for Limestone. As Cherry rolls it far side, a little bit of a miscommunication there by the Eagles. It goes down, point Limestone. So 4-4 the score with Hudick to serve again. Goes off the top of the net. Hafey able to keep it in play, and it goes over. Hudick sets up far side. McMillan tries to roll it over the top, but the Eagles keep it in play. Big swing for Osmus, but it's Cole and Ratliff there for the block. Point Saints. Third block for the Saints. As it's Cole and Ratliff awaiting Emerson Osmus. And Limestone back in front 5-4. Get some moisture up off the floor, but Ella Hudick back ready to serve for the Limestone Saints. Serve goes back row for Hafey. Cherry sets up Osmus near side. Big swing kept alive on the back row by Hanson. Now Cole tries to poke it over, but Hurst and Osmus there to put it down. Point Eagles. It's a solo block for Maddie Hurst. And the Eagles have a ever-present presence at the net. As you see, Hurst got every little bit of that to slam it down. And we're tied at 5. McCombs to serve for Carson-Newman. Back row for Hanson. Hudick sets it up far side. McMillan pushes it too far. Point Eagles. Another attacking error for Mia McMillan. That's a 12th on the night. For the Saints leader in kills. It's been a big threat to neutralize for the Eagles, and Sienna's done a pretty good job of that tonight. Hudick sets up in the middle for Cole, who rolls it over, and it's scored. McCombs tried to get there in time, couldn't quite do it. And it's a kill for Emily Cole. Jana Price checks back in. Elena Hansen will head to the bench. As we're all knotted up at 6 here in set number 3. Limestone looking to keep it alive and push it to at least 4. Again, the Saints, winners of their last 2. Both of them in conference play. 2 4-set wins over Anderson and UVA Wise. Osmus near side, a big swing. McMillan with a dig on the back row. Hudick with a bit of an awkward set. Konovadoff able to roll it over. Now Cole to Hudick. And Ratliff pokes it over. Hafey with the dig. Now far side or near side Osmus. Big swing. It goes just past the back line. Point Limestone. The home crowd not pleased with that call. It was close. As you see the swing from Osmus, couldn't quite see where that ball landed. It also looked like Limestone might have gotten a piece of it. Nonetheless, point Saints at 7-6. Serve for McMillan. Cherry trying to keep it alive, but it goes down. Point Limestone service ace for Mia McMillan, and it's 8-6. So Cherry tried to keep that in play. And this match is the largest lead for Limestone since the Saints led 2-0 in the first set. Cherry sets up near side for Emerson Osmus. Hudick dumps it over. Bennett McCombs right there. Now Cherry for Kieran, a big swing, and she scores. Point Eagles, much needed, makes it 8-7. 8th kill for Taylor Kieran as Kylie Oldenburger checks back in for Trinity Hafey. It's a great set by Cherry, a big swing for Kieran. And Carson-Newman's back within 1. 18th assist on the night for Blair Cherry. Puts her 31 away from 10th on the all-time assist list. Price tries to poke it over, kept alive by Oldenburger on the far side. Now Osmus off the hands of Konovadoff and scored. Point Carson-Newman. Emerson Osmus back on the score sheet, her 3rd kill of the evening. And we're tied up at 8. It's a clean swing there for Osmus. She's had her chances tonight, 20 attacks. Make that 21, and she gets her 3rd kill. Hudick sets up near side for Cole, who pushes it past the back line. Point Carson-Newman. 9-8, Carson-Newman in front on the attacking error for Emily Cole. It's now 28, I think that 29 attacking errors for the Limestone Saints. Blair Cherry to serve once again for Carson-Newman. Eagles back out in front by 1. This one goes off the hands of McMillan near the Limestone bench. Nice job by Cole. to keep it in play. Cherry sets up far side Kieran. Konovadoff back row. Hudik to Ratliff, and it's scored. Point Limestone, and a well-deserved point there on the nice hustle by Emily Cole over top of the Limestone bench. Amy Lloyd checks back in for Sarah Konovadoff, who really has been all over the floor tonight. She's been impressive, wearing the pink libero jersey and showing exactly why this evening for the Saints. The serve for Ratliff goes off the backboard, off the hands of an Eagle, and it's scored. Point Saints, a service ace for Chloe Ratliff, and Limestone's back in front. It's the most back and forth set we've really had here tonight. Only one tie, one lead change throughout the first two sets this evening. Blair Cherry sets up. Near side, Kylie Oldenburger, a big swing, goes into the net off the hands of Mia McMillan. Point Eagles. Kylie Oldenburger has really played a significant role in this match, as we'll see McKenna Hall for the first time. She checks in for Emerson Osmus. And Konovadoff checks back in. Chloe Ratliff heads to the bench. 10-10 the scores. McKenna Hall seeing her first action tonight. She heads back to serve. Back row for McMillan. Hudik sets up near side for Cole. She'll roll it over and score. Limestone seems to have figured out they haven't been able to attack these Eagle middle blockers, and that time Cole able to roll it over the top as you see Coran and Shabelsky check back in. Nobody home in the middle of the floor there for Carson-Newman as Limestone retakes the 1-point lead. Jenna Shabelsky to serve for the Saints. Goes back row for Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry sets up far side. Oldenburger a big swing. Kept in play by Limestone. Now Coran's going to have to bump it over on the third hit. Cherry sets for Kieran, who pushes it past the back line. Point Limestone. Limestone has a 2-point advantage, 12-10 here in the third set. The Saints need this one to push it to set 4. Nice set by Cherry. Kieran just got a little too much of it and pushed it out of play. Shabelsky serves. It goes past the back line. Point Carson-Newman. Seems like any time tonight Limestone has secured any significant momentum and has given it right back. As a service error gives Carson-Newman the serve back. Maddie Hirsch checks back in for the Eagles. 12-11, Limestone still out in front as Kieran serves for Carson-Newman. Shabelsky sets up in the middle for Coran, who puts it down and scores. Point Saints on a beautiful attack from Josie Coran as Hansen checks back in. Price will check out. Got at the peak of her jump and pushed it down the near sideline. Past the hands of Taylor Kieran. 13-11, Saints in front as Lena Hansen serves. Back row for Hall. Blair Cherry sets up far side. Oldenburger able to roll it over. Konovadoff right there. McMillan far side rolls it over the top of two Eagles. Hall in the back row to Cherry. Blake Cherry with a big swing, and it'll go out of play off the hands of a Saint. Point Carson-Newman. Hafey checks back in, gives Kylie Oldenburger a breath as Carson-Newman's back within 1. That time it looked like Amy Loy got the touch and it went out of play. So a kill for Blake Cherry, give her 6 on the night. As Hafey's serve goes back row, Shabelsky sets up in the middle for Coran. McCombs with a nice dig. Blair Cherry near side for Blake. Shabelsky sets up Coran on the near side. She's blocked and it goes down. Point Carson-Newman. Maddie Hurst and Blake Cherry combine. And Carson-Newman has its 12th block of the evening. Right there to defend the big swing from Josie Coran. The Eagles have been in position all night, and they've been mighty effective. 13-all with Hafey to serve again for the Eagles. Goes back row for Hansen. Nice job to keep it in play. McMillan rolls it over. Now Cherry in the middle for McKenna Hall. Shabelsky sets up in the middle for Hansen, who pushes it past the back row, and it's out of play. Point Carson-Newman. Eagles back in front, 14-13, looking to salvage momentum here in the third set to avoid this one from going to 4. Awkward positioning for Hansen there. She put a little bit too much on it and pushed it past the back line. Hafey to serve for Carson-Newman, back row for Hansen. Shabelsky sets it up far side. McMillan, a powerful swing, goes off the hands of McCombs, and it's scored. Point Limestone. Mia McMillan starting to heat up a bit. She's now up to 5 kills as Ratliff checks back in. Loy heads to the bench. Sarah Konovadoff to serve. Talked about her quite a bit tonight, reasonably so. She's got 15 digs. As Shabelski sets it up for Coran, who has to roll it over the top. Blair Cherry sets up Blake near side. Nice dig by McMillan. As Hanson with the big swing. Blair Cherry sets up Blake on the near side. Goes off the hands of Hanson in the back row. Point Carson-Newman. Blake Cherry with another kill. Here comes Emerson Osmus checking back in for McKenna Hall as Blake Cherry heads back to serve. Really nice night for Blake. She's up to 7 kills on the evening. Second on the Eagles, right behind Taylor Kieran, who has 8. Not to mention Blair Cherry, excuse me. Wait a second, Blake Cherry just got herself an assist. She's getting ready to talk about her sister Blair as she just gets a service error. She was service ace for Blake Cherry. One off the hands of Elena Hanson. She's getting ready to talk about Blair. Up to 22 assists. She needs 27 to move into 10th place all time. Shabelski sets up far side for McMillan, a big swing. McCombs keeps alive. Now McMillan goes right back to it, and she scores. A little bit of an awkward play there as the bump from McCombs went over top of the net, kept it in play for McMillan, and you see Hudick and Cole check back in. Just a bit of an awkward play there, and McMillan gets herself another kill. Hudick with the serve, back row for Trinity Hafey. Blair Cherry sets up near side. Osmus a big swing. Goes off the hands of Ratliff and Cole. Point Carson-Newman. Emerson Osmus, the freshman, with another kill as Kieran checks back in. Just overpower Cole and Ratliff at the net. And Carson-Newman leads 17-15. Bennett McCombs to serve for Carson-Newman. Back row for Hanson. Far side, McMillan a big swing. McCombs with a nice dig over top of the scorer's table. Emerson Osmus keeps it in play. Hudick far side, McMillan a big swing. Dig on the back row for Blake Cherry. Near side, Emerson Osmus. Kept alive by McMillan. Near side now, Cole. And the Eagles looking to reset. Swing for Osmus. Goes down in between Konovadoff and Hanson. Point Eagles. What recovery for the Eagles and Emerson Osmus to get back in position and set up for that swing. Point Carson-Newman is 18-15 as we head into a Limestone timeout. Carson-Newman 7 points away from closing this one out. 2-0 Eagles. We'll be back on the Eagles Sports Network. Back here at Holt Fieldhouse, Carson-Newman leads Limestone 18-15 here in set number 3. A little bit of a note to look out for here as we go down the stretch in this game. Taylor Kieran on double-double watch. She has 8 kills and 7 blocks. Eagles haven't had a kill block double-double since 2011 when Nikki James did it against Mars Hill right here at Holt Fieldhouse. It was also the last time Eagles had 10-plus blocks in a game. That has already been exceeded. Carson-Newman with 12 blocks in a game. First time since 2011 against Mars Hill. Leah McMillan with a big swing far side, and it's scored. Point Limestone. A little bit of clarification on that note. This is not the first time Carson-Newman's had 10-plus blocks as a team. If Taylor Kieran's able to get there, she'll be the first Eagle to have 10-plus blocks in the game since that match in 2011. So a little bit of clarity on that point. Carson-Newman has certainly exceeded that number since 2011, but for Taylor Kieran to be the first Eagle since then to do so. Big swing far side for Kieran. Dig on the back row for Hudick. Cole, a bit of a missed jump, and it goes down. Point Eagles. So keep an eye on that throughout the rest of tonight's game. You should take a look at the little bit of a missed jump for Emily Cole. Glad she's okay. That looked a little awkward on the jump by Cole as Carson-Newman leads 19-16. So for Kieran to reach that mark, she'll need 3 blocks the rest of the way and 2 more kills. As Blair Cherry heads back to serve, looks like the court's getting checked out a little bit. Maybe a little bit of moisture there. Cole might have slipped. As Carson-Newman 6 points away from closing this one out. 19-16 the score. Blair Cherry heads back to serve. This will go past the back row and out of bounds. Point Limestone. So the Saints keeping this third set very close here and well within striking distance. Try and push this to at least 4 sets. Chloe Ratliff to serve for Limestone. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair sets up for Kylie Oldenburger. Kept alive for a moment by McMillan. Now Price is going to have to roll it over in the third hit. Blair Cherry sets up in the middle for Kieran. A big swing and she scores. Point Carson-Newman, 9th kill for Taylor Kieran. And it's 20-17. All checks back in for Osmus as you see Taylor Kieran is on another level tonight. 9 kills, 7 blocks for Taylor Kieran. Mention that stat. She'd be the first double-double in blocks and kills for the Eagles since 2011. As Cole tries to get it over, Kieran was there on the block, but it's kept alive by Limestone. Cherry sets up for Kieran. She's blocked, but McComb's right there. Now Cherry will dump it over. Kanavidov there to keep it in play. Hudick rolls it over and scores. Nice job by Ella Hudick. Keep it alive and dump it over for the point. Karan and Shabelski check back in as Ella Hudick doing her best Blair Cherry impression. She scores. It's a 2-point set. Shabelski to serve for Limestone. Goes back row, Bennett McCombs. Blair Cherry sets up in the middle. Kieran with the swing off the hands of Shabelski, but it remains in play. Shabelski has to roll it over. McKenna Hall in the back row. Blair Cherry to Blake near side, and it's blocked by Karan and Lloyd. Point Limestone. Again, Limestone tightening things up on the back end of this set as Cherry's blocked. Looked like Lloyd got most of that, but it's a block assist for Lloyd and Karan. As Shabelski sets to serve. Blair Cherry sets up. Far side Oldenburger. Dig on the back row for McMillan. Now Shabelski to Price, and she scores. Point Limestone. We're tied at 20s. Looks like Kat Collins wants a timeout, and she does. 20 apiece after the kill from Jana Price on the far side. We'll head to a break. 20-20 down the stretch here in set number 3 on the Eagle Sports Network. First one to 5 here in set number 3, 20 apiece as Carson-Newman leads 2-0 here on the Eagle Sports Network. Limestone looking to push it to at least 4 sets here at Holt Fieldhouse. Carson-Newman had steady control of set number 2. This one looking a little bit more like the first set where things were tight on the back end. Carson-Newman able to pull away late. Second set, Eagles had no problem, won it 25-14, but here in set number 3, Limestone has really been able to keep it tight throughout. Jenna Shabelski will set to serve. Here's a serve for Limestone. Shabelski goes back row for Bennett McCombs. Blair Cherry sets up Blake on the near side, and it goes out of play. Point Limestone. 21-20 at Limestone. See, the momentum has kind of shifted back to the Saints here. It's a bit of an awkward position. Goes on the outer pole. Here on the near side. As Blair Cherry sets up in the middle. Taylor Kieran, a big swing. She's blocked, kept alive for a moment. And Oldenburg able to roll it over. Near side, Coran, nice dig on the back row by Hall, but it goes too far to play for Oldenburger. Point Limestone. Out of the timeout, the Saints have maintained the momentum. See, McKenna Hall was able to get there. Oldenburger gave it a shot on the far sideline, but couldn't get there. Here's a serve for Shabelski. Back row for Bennett McCombs. Blair Cherry sets it up far side. Oldenburger puts it down. Point Carson-Newman. Price and Lloyd were there for the block attempt, but Kylie Oldenburger overpowers them and scores. Clean swing on the far side by the graduate Kylie Oldenburger. As Cameron Bates heads back to serve, 22-21 your score. Carson-Newman trails Limestone here in the third set. It's coming down the wire. See if the Eagles can secure the sweep here at Holt. Shabelski sets up, near side Price. Coran able to roll it over. Home crowd didn't like it, now a whistle. Point Carson-Newman. A violation on Limestone, and we're tied at 22. Bates heads back to serve for Carson-Newman as we take a look at this play right here. Yeah, certainly should have been blown dead initially, but the officials got it right eventually. 22 apiece. As Bates sets to serve again for Carson-Newman. Back row for McMillan. Shabelski sets up Price, gets it over the top of Hurst and Cherry. And Bates unable to get there in time. Point Limestone. Here comes Elena Hansen for Limestone. Taylor Kieran for Carson-Newman. Creative attack there for Coran. She scores, and Limestone 2 points away from pushing this to 4 sets. Hansen to serve for the Saints. Back row for Blake Cherry. Blair Cherry sets up her sister on the near side. It's blocked, and it goes down, but a little bit out of play. Point Carson-Newman. Couldn't tell the initial ruling there, but Blake Cherry gets a kill, and we're tied at 23. 2 Saints right there, just pushed it a little too far past the near sideline. As Trinity Hafey will serve, 23 apiece. Serve from Hafey goes back row for Hansen. Shabelski sets up far side McMillan. She's blocked but is kept alive by Limestone. Far side McMillan once again. Cherry sets it up near side for Blake Cherry. Back row for Hansen. Now Shabelski towards McMillan, who pushes it past the back line. Point Carson-Newman. Limestone thought it was tipped. And we're going to see a Limestone timeout. Was not a tip, went over the top. Looked like a Cherry and Hurst there on the near side. 24-23, set point, match point on the other side as Brandon Squares burns his final timeout. We'll see if the Eagles can come out in front on the other side here on the Eagles Sports Network. Back here on the Eagles Sports Network, Carson-Newman leads Limestone 24-23. Here in the third set, looking for the decisive match point. Trinity Hafey will serve for the Eagles here on the Eagles Sports Network. As Carson-Newman looks to move to 3-0 in sack play here at home against Limestone. The Eagles looking to close it out. Limestone looking to keep it alive here in the third set. Hafey to serve for Carson-Newman. Back row for Hansen. Coran a big swing. McCombs keeps it in play for the Eagles. Blair Cherry to Blake Kanavadoff on the back row. Able to keep it in play now. McMillan rolls it over and scores. Point Limestone, and the Saints have another breath. Ratliff checks in. As you see the kill from McMillan. Rolls it over the top of Hurst and Cherry. And the Saints stay alive. Kanavadoff to serve for the Saints. Blair Cherry sets up Maddie Hurst in the middle. Konovanov right there, keeps it in play, but it goes off the pole on the far side. Point Carson-Newman. Again, Sarah Konovanov right there. A great diving attempt, but just went out of play. Now Blake Cherry to serve. Match point once again for Carson-Newman. Can Limestone live to fight another day? Back row for Hanson. Schabowski sets it up in the middle for McMillan. Blair Cherry dumps it over and scores. Point Carson-Newman, and the Eagles win 3-0. Had to fight there at the end. 26-24 in the third set. Carson-Newman secures a sweep. Blair Cherry goes back to her signature move on the dump. And Schabowski can't get there in time. Carson-Newman wins 3-0. 25-21 in set number 1, 25-14 in set number 2, and 26-24 in the third set. We'll be back on the mic this weekend, Saturday against UVA Wise here at Holt Fieldhouse at 2 o'clock. Join me on the Eagles Sports Network. I'll have your call as we take you through all the action. Ryan Wilkes signing off. Carson-Newman wins 3-0, moving to 7-3, 3-0 in sack play. I'll talk to you Saturday here on the Eagles Sports Network.